Hello, everybody. Angel Arts here, and we are at the final session zero. This time it is the session zero for the Alpha Squad, the recently named Alpha Squad. I am here with 4 players who will be participating in the Alpha Squad. Um, Many of you, before we begin, I wanted to explain something. James was supposed to be one of the 4 members of the Alpha Squad, but just a couple days after I had announced that he was going to be in the campaign, he sent me a personal email, just to let me know that for personal reasons, he was no longer able to participate in the game, and so I emailed him back and told him that he will be greatly missed, and hopefully there will be another opportunity along the line for him to participate. So in his stead, Super Spells, will be formally taking over as the 4th slot member for you guys' campaigns throughout your sessions. Notice I said sessions plural. So yeah, surprise, surprise, one-shot session is not a one-shot session. You guys are playing in several sessions. Uh, Surprise!
I actually had that thought, like before we did the whole little meetup with Jeff and them. I actually had that thought that might happen, but I kept that kind of to myself.
So
I didn't want to get my hopes up.
when I first laid out that there were going to be 3 squads, I had intended every squad to do more than one session, but I did not want to commit to that right off the bat until I figured out what the story was going to be and whether or not it would work. So after running a couple of sessions with the other squads, I was like, this can work. I can give you guys more than one session. So you guys will be playing at minimum 4. 4 at minimum is how many sessions we'll be participating in. Because I think there's a lot of questions about the Alpha Squad, especially if you saw the Bravo Squad session. And I don't think we can answer all of them in one session properly, as well as flesh out your characters, which is what I want to do the most with all of you. So, Spells is going to help with that a lot.
Yay!
So what we're going to do is we're going to first go around the room and introduce ourselves. Um, Spells kind of already introduced himself before, so if you want to give an abbreviated version, that'd be great, Spells. But for the rest of you, I'm pretty much going to give ask some of the same questions that I asked the previous squad, starting with, please give us your name as far as how you want us to address you, and if you are comfortable with it, where you are from, possibly what state, if you're in the United States, if you're comfortable with that, and some fun fact about you that has nothing to do with video games or gaming. Okay? Who would like to go first?
You all can call me Shogun. Dramas Girl knows everything about me already. But you can call me Shogun. I am from the United States, Virginia, to be more specific.
My name is Quentin. You can call me Quinn. My YouTube name is Quintron. I don't really do anything on my channel yet, but I will be. Quinn's fine.
That's going to get confusing really fast.
You shall be named Quinn.
I'm from Portland, Oregon, West Coaster, all the way, born and raised. And fun fact about me is that I am a classically trained violinist.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I'm big into music myself. I was a band geek. Played the clarinet through high school, college, and middle school. Very cool. And how about you, Karamas Girl? Would you like to go next?
Sure. You guys have probably seen my channel at some point if you know about the Pokemon campaign, but I am Karama's Girl. You can call me Jessica if you want, since Karama's Girl is kind of a bit of a mouthful. I live in the United States as well. I live in Kentucky, which actually isn't that far from you guys, so... I don't know if you guys can tell, but I can't see out of my left eye. At all.
Oh. Was that something that you were born with, or?
I can't remember the technical name for it, but I was like think 3.5 months premature. And since it happened when I was a baby, they retina detached and they couldn't fix it, so I'm stuck on this. But it's
Oh, I'm sure you've managed to get by.
yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. And spells.
All right, too long didn't read version. Colin Calum. Spells works too. I live in Maryland now. I'm previously from the land of fried chicken, aka Kentucky. And I enjoy writing.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. My next question I'm going to ask all four of you is if you guys were in the Mass Effect universe, which of the 6 classes or archetypes in the Mass Effect universe do you think that you would be, and why do you think you would be that particular class or archetype?
I'm torn on this one.
Yeah, same here.
I would want to be an infiltrator, but I am just too clumsy to be an infiltrator.
Okay.
Same here.
I don't think I would be lucky enough to be a biotic, if you
Okay.
can call it luck. So I would probably just be a soldier carrying as much junk as I can to give me a fighting chance.
You'd be a soldier. Okay.
Yes.
Soldier. Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I would actually want to be like a vanguard since I love using the biotic charge to hit people. And then use the shotgun on them.
Supercharge!
I love charge.
But I don't think I'd be able to pull it off because like Shogun, I'm a bit clumsy. I don't have very good balance. I'd probably be more of like a sentinel because I do stuff with tech, but I'd still like to be a biotic. So not up close and personal, I guess, because like I said, I'm probably end up tripping over my own 2 feet when I get to the person to attack
Okay.
them.
Okay.
I'll go.
Okay.
I would definitely be an infiltrator, long range infiltrator. I don't feel like I would be a very good front line fighter. I would definitely be that invisible guy behind a rock with a sniper rifle and some techie powers, but the front line thing is not for me, and I don't know how well I would be able to handle biotic powers.
Okay.
And with me, I would either be an infiltrator, which means long range and lots of damage, or an adept, which also means close range and lots of damage. I like doing lots of damage. So that's what I'm good at.
Very cool. All right. Now let's go ahead and talk about your individual characters. So tell us again the name of your character, what race your character is, and as much as you'd like to share about your character without giving anything major away. Okay. Shogun wants to go first.
Yes, please.
Go ahead,
I
Shogun.
am just so proud of this character. I love Quinn so much. I'm sorry, he's the best character I've
Quinn
ever
is
written.
pretty darn awesome. Oh, you're talking about your character. Okay.
That'll be confusing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's why I said it's
confusing.
going to be confusing. No problem.
I just got that as well.
We've got Quinn the person and Quinn the character. So
I'm sorry, Quinn, you're gonna have to change your name. I don't see
I
any
know.
way around this.
yeah.
Okay. My character's name is Quinn Narnupolia. His family got exiled for undisclosed reasons,
Mhm.
and he grew up on Nupolia, a colony in the of the Alliance, where growing up amongst humans, one of the side effects of growing up in that culture was he lost his accent. He now completely speaks like a human. Now that you may think that that was an intentional purpose to maybe give and symbolize his fractured relationship with the Korean people, but in reality, it's because I cannot do a Korean accent.
No, but I'm glad you have a very story reason.
Okay, and He's not a traditional infiltrator. He doesn't use sniper rifles that much. He can use them. He can be very efficient
Sorry
with
about
them, but he prefers to use a nintaku, a ninja sword. And that's all I'm willing to disclose.
Were you finished? Were you finished, Shogun?
Yes. I was going to start talking about Quinn's preference in underwear, but I think that would just be way too much information.
I'm sure that'll somehow come up in character in the campaign. Somehow it'll happen.
I've seen some of the crazy things that comes up. I'm sure it will.
Did anyone ever tell you, Shogun, that you look like the spitting image of a young Reclusiarch? Did anyone tell you that?
I can see that.
But
No, now I can see it.
but I have been told that I need to grow a mullet. Multiple times.
I feel like one of these days we need to have you do an impression of Reclusiarch. I think that would be hilarious.
So I think their families are not telling each other something. I think this is withheld information.
What?
Are you talking about Shogun's family and Reclusiarch's family?
Yes.
Oh. You don't look exactly like him, but it's like you could, if you had a little bit of a Swedish accent, you could, pull off maybe being his younger brother or something. Like that.
I can see the resemblance, most definitely.
My family did travel from Eastern Europe.
Ah, there we go. You might have some Swedish roots. That might be it. Reclusiarch, you might have found your distant cousin. Distant cousin.
Give me money. You owe me child support. I don't have your child, but I think I should.
There we go. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to somebody else. Quentin.
Jessica, your turn.
Okay, I think I'll go next this time because I've got 3 characters, but one I'm actually using, and you're using the other 2, Angel.
Let's talk about your main character.
Okay. My main character is Faith. She's an Asari, Vanguard actually. And I don't know about this, but I think she might be the oldest out of the group. Well, considering she's also an Asari, but anyway. She's got, I think I said 3 sisters, and her father is a Krogan. And she's been in the Asari military most of her life when she went out and left her homeworld. I don't know if I mentioned this, but she's got a soft spot for animals.
Aww. Very cute. Okay, thank you. And we'll get to we know Spells' character, so let's just go back. Let's go to Quinn.
All right, my character is Salovara Narzima. He's a male Quarian. He's left-handed. I'm not familiar if Quarians age the same as humans, but he's in the equivalent of what the humans' 20s would be. He's from what I've seen, I just caught up on Bravo Squad today, so yeah. So he has a sister, Niluvara Narzima,
who's playing a very major role right now in Bravo Squad.
Yeah. They were raised by a friend of their parents. Both of their parents were killed. They were told that it was by the Geth. That may or may not be true. Salovara he's all about his kid sister. Nilu is his life. She is just everything to him, and he is her hero, and he can't let her down in any way. And she's just everything to him. And he is an engineer. And he has his own unique Omni tool that's very fancy and has a lot of shiny blue circuitry instead of the normal orange.
I think there was something I didn't mention in the Bravo Squad Session 0. I didn't mention Rain's last name in the Bravo Squad Session 0, so I'm just going to say her name is Rain Takai, and I have discovered and chosen her band name. She is the lead singer of Mystical Rain, and Rain spelled as in the reign of a kingdom.
Oh, I like that. So, if those of you who are caught up on Bravo Squad, at least up to this point, you probably have seen many of these people's NPCs showing up both in the Bravo Squad and in the main squad. Yes, Niha is fairly prominent in Bravo Squad. I've actually had a lot of fun with her character, so Shogun, hopefully you approved. She was a big favorite amongst the Bravo Squad. They really liked her a lot, and
Given the quote I gave you of the example of her character, I was a bit concerned that I made her look like she was just all about that all the time, but she was just it's horrible. She's horrible to live with, but she's great to have around.
I think given her personality, she and Dark's character Aya, they seem to work well together. I think it makes sense. So that worked out really well. And then Damien, of course, is Karamis Girl's character.
One of two. Others,
one of two. Karamis Girl's, and he has been a relatively important side character in both of the squads, but as well as yes, he's the chief of the police, at least in the 3 galaxies that we're dealing with the main squad. Remind me the name of the Turian again, Karamis Girl, that you had created.
His name is I think it's pronounced Timaeus.
Timaeus.
That's
Timaeus.
If
you guys don't remember, back in session 1 of the main squad, Timaeus was the Turian that was trying to basically hold everybody hostage at the bank, and he ended up somehow getting shot. And there's still a bit of a mystery as to how and who. Ooh,
especially
happened.
what happens to him in the other universes as well. That'd be interesting.
I am
to see
very
as well.
worried, but
without giving too much away, I believe, if I remember correctly, I think Timaeus' name gets mentioned again in one of the recent sessions that I haven't posted yet. I think he gets mentioned again, but I won't give the context. So,
okay.
You've been trying to make sure that all of your side characters are at least having some prominence. And of course, Nilu, the kid sister genius, that's sort of the one. Not only is she the main engineer of the ship for the Bravo Squad, it's the Normandy. No pressure, sis. No pressure.
When I heard her name, I was doing just giant stacks of math homework, and I had to rewatch all of the Bravo Squad up to that point because I realized I was spacing off and not like doing my math homework, and I heard Nilu and went, "What?"
Well, you realize that the two of you are also in the main squad's first, second, and third session. You guys were also there in the first, because you guys were the ones who were at the bank.
Right, yeah.
His sister was getting held hostage.
Yeah, him and his sister was being held hostage. I was trying as hard as I could to mimic Quentin's amazing Quarian accent, but I couldn't do it very well. I couldn't do it justice, but I did my best. So.
And then the guy got axed, which was great.
Yes.
Think Faith would agree with you on that, considering her past with him. But I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not going to say anything. So, I'm looking forward to fleshing out your characters over the next, at minimum, 4 sessions. Possibly more, depending on your choices in one of the sessions, or how you do in one of the sessions. You might possibly earn more, and that's all I'll say.
Why are you getting excited? You should be scared. Would you like that? He's planning on killing.
Assuming you survive. So.
No, Quinn, no.
So let's put you guys on the spot, just like I did with the other squad.
Bring it.
Sure, let's start with Shogun.
Bring it.
Shogun. The reason why I chose you, sir, is because you were just a big ball of entertaining energy. And I thought that of all people, you would be able to shine. I could give you 1 session, and you would shine in 1 session. And now I'm giving you 4 sessions to shine. But you're the kind of person who I think stands out very well, and I think would entertain a lot of people. You have a great sense of humor, and I think you would add a lot of spirit to this party, to this group. And that's why I chose you to be in the Alpha Squad.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Karamis girl, I loved your enthusiasm. I loved your you were very persistent even before I posted the contest itself, like the selection process, and explained all the rules. You had messaged me independently beforehand saying that you were interested in role playing, and I was very impressed by um, how the initiative you took the initiative, and you made it very clear that you wanted an opportunity to participate in something like this, and I definitely listened to you and took that into great consideration. And I felt that you put in a lot of time and effort on designing that your characters and tried to make them as fleshed out as possible, and even gave me options. I like how you gave me all these little options that I could play with. So, and I like that. So it was very clear that you were very serious about this, and I needed serious players involved in a project like this because, again, this is the most complicated campaign I've ever done. Like I've been GMing for a good 10 years, but I've never done something like this. And you are the people that I know will be dedicated and will take this seriously, but still have fun doing it. So that is why you are here. And and notice that I did not mention the female quota. Notice I did not mention that at all. Roll an extra d6. Thank you. Quinn. Again, I have dealt with you before. Quinn, if for those of you who didn't know, he had contacted me independently, I think at least a year ago, maybe more than that. Because he was trying to DM a campaign of his own. Was it the Dragon Age campaign you were trying to DM?
It was the Dragon Age campaign.
And I don't know if it's done or if it's still going.
It fell apart due to unreliable internet people, but I actually just had session 0 for a real life game today.
Oh, good. Good. So I know I needed a strong player who had experience in the campaign, just because I felt being given the fewest sessions, he would be able to run with it. He would be able to take it and run with it. And again, just because he has a lot of experience under his belt. And instantly, I got his character within the first few seconds. And I think that's the main theme going on with you guys, is that you basically are able to give instant gratification. Don't read into that too much, but you're able to provide instant gratification, and I needed players who could do that, given that they have fewer sessions to work with, because there are players in the other sessions who would struggle with that a little bit because they need extra time to pick up the tempo. And I knew that Quentin would be able to jump in and just go and just run with it, and that's why I chose you to be in the Alpha Squad. And then we have spells, and I mean, he's all right.
I'm just okay, subpar.
Spells is okay so far. No, I already gave Spells his ego stroking already. So
yeah,
you are hilarious.
You already patted me on the back.
I already patted him.
Fantastically motivated, Quentin. You are an expert RPer, and yes, spells.
And spells. Yeah. So, I guess my next question is, this is going to be the most important question of them all. The same thing that I've asked the Bravo Squad and the main squad is, what exactly, as the player, are you personally looking for and are hoping to get out of this experience and hoping to get out of each other?
I've GM'd a couple of games. I've been interested in tabletop role playing for a long time, and I've never had a really in-depth player experience as being a player in the game. And I've seen, both through watching other people's campaigns, through running my own, through doing play tests at local game shops, I've seen people interact with each other, people who've been in a session or two before, really playing off each other's creativity, really having a good time, really, advancing themselves in the game and outside of the game. And I really, really wanted to have that kind of experience and have that kind of experience with other people, help them have that same experience.
I'm really hoping to get some more friends out of this, as I've said before, and I would really like the opportunity to see other people again in a new campaign, whether it be with Angel Arch's collaboration or not. Like, I'd like to see more like spin-offs of other campaigns, and we can all get together again and hang out sometime.
I've done before all this, the whole tabletop thing. I've done regular role playing, like one-on-one with someone over email or instant message or whatever, and I've always actually really enjoyed it. And this is something completely different when it comes to role playing, but I am really looking forward to doing it. I'm hoping to get some new experience with role playing on a completely different level, and also just be able to make new friends. Because I don't have very many friends normally.
Well, we'll fix
Having you
that.
guys as friends would be awesome.
I think we've fixed it already, but we can continue fixing it. So, and how about you, Shogun? What are you hoping to get out of this experience and from each other?
I have only recently discovered. When I heard of Dungeons and Dragons, I had no idea what that was. I thought it was just a board game, like something. But when I finally figured it out, I was very interested. I am hoping to do some writing. I am currently working on my very first fan fiction, my own RP that is classified right now. When I mean RP, I am literally designing a RP system from the ground up. But what I'm hoping for an epic story with great impact. I want Quinn. Dang it, Quentin, change your mind. I'm sorry, I tried to hold it together, but the jokes just come.
Okay, this is gonna be funny.
Okay.
I think throughout the whole session.
Okay, so I want an epic story, and I want Quinn to be the best he can be. I owe it to this character that I made, to all of his family and the ship I made, which is pretty dang awesome. Oh, that look. Oh, that look. I am very scared.
Don't mind me, I'm just writing notes. Don't mind me.
Okay. I just want to give Quinn the best he can get. Quinn,
Okay.
our new Polly, not our Quentin, my Quentin.
Screw that other Quentin.
And and of course, I can't wait to share all my terrible jokes with all of you.
Woo! Exciting. All
Okay.
right. So, as a bonus for session 0, again, because I get to do things with the Alpha Squad that I don't get to do with the other squads, is we actually are going to begin role-playing now. And I thought it would be good to get a head start on some of the things that's been going on with the Alpha Squad. So, allow this to be sort of a prologue, if you will, prior to session 0, and to give us a feel for who these characters are before we dive into their story proper. So I'm going to begin the way I've begun all of the other squads. Everybody, roll initiative, please. Yay, it's your first D20 roll. All right. So Quinn, as in the character. Quinn the character.
Yay!
Quinn, you were actually on the same Quarian ship that Dark Hill Themsby character was on. The one that got attacked in Bravo Squad's first session, if you remember that.
Oh, wonderful.
You were on that ship. So, for whatever reason, you can decide for yourself. For whatever reason, you were not with the Quarian... You were not on Rannoch at the time. I'll let you decide for yourself why you were not at Rannoch. But, even though supposedly whatever conflict was happening in Rannoch had gotten... had gotten fixed in some form, I think Shepard was able to find peace between the Quarians and the Geth. Whether or not you agree with that is up to you, whether you agree with that or not. I think that your opinions may or may not differ with Salovera, but we'll see. So you and Salovera actually were on that ship. We actually got an idea of what happened to Salovera and his sister, but you were also there as well. And during the attack, you managed to scramble your way past the Volus husks that were attacking everybody near the end of that particular part of the story. And you eventually find yourself in the vault with everybody else. During all the craziness in the vault, where exactly do you think you would probably find yourself in, Quinn? Like, there's basically like the living quarters, there's the dining area, there's I guess where would you probably be hanging around while things are starting to die down? Like the alarm system is starting to die down. They've already sealed the vault. Everybody's inside. What do you see yourself doing?
Where's Niha?
You haven't seen her yet. We're getting to that. That's exactly what we're doing. We haven't seen her yet.
I would be in a secluded area, tinkering. If I would be in a corner where I could see other people,
Okay.
but they would usually ignore me. Just
Okay.
if everyone's all right, junk like that.
You're tinkering, and at the corner of your eye, you notice something familiar. To your shock, you see your sister walk by. She seems to be distracted by something, so she doesn't even notice that you're there. She just walks right by you, and you're positive that's her.
Has he heard that everything is done for? That everything failed?
No, it hasn't. That part hasn't happened yet.
Quinn will stick to the shadows and observe.
Okay.
Follow,
Well,
I'll say what it is. I'm stalking her.
You're
okay?
stalking her? Okay.
Yes. I am, he is shocked. He doesn't know what to do, so he's going to observe the situation.
Your sister seems to be pacing back and forth, like from one end of the room to the other. She doesn't seem to be really she seems to be in her own little world. She appears to be worried about something or otherwise, like I said, distracted. I'm not sure how long you're going to be observing her. She's going to be doing this for a while, but if you are patient enough, I can tell you what she does next. I mean, depends on how realistically long you think you're going to be hanging out, watching your sister pace back and forth a room.
With thoughts of the history, he's going to be pretty. He's not going to be exactly racing to.
Okay.
He'll be patient and wait it out.
Okay. At some point, after she probably has paced back and forth for maybe a good 10 minutes, you would say, she finally gets very exasperated. There's sort of like this desk full of... there's this desk, or this small table that contains like some boxes of some sort, maybe like somebody's belongings. And she just goes over the table and she just flips it over in frustration. Several of the people around that area gasp / look in her direction, and she doesn't even
she doesn't care what they think.
She doesn't even care what they think, and she just storms off. If you follow her, you can.
I will.
But that will require a stealth roll for her to not notice you while you're following her.
Okay, so
21. Okay. You manage to keep away from her view, and she eventually makes her way into what appears to be, this is your first time in this area, so there are many parts of this ship, not the ship, there are many parts of the vault that you haven't explored, but she has gone to the med bay, a med bay of sorts, and there is a human who looks very badly wounded. The female woman is unconscious, and you see her kneel over her, and she grabs a hold of her hand and squeezes it. And she kind of just hangs out there.
And that forces the issue. Quinn will slowly, very slowly, hesitant, limbs completely stiff. Depending on how hard anyone looks, he's even a little bit shaking a little bit.
Okay. Are you making any attempt to not be noticed that you're coming into this room, or you're just walking into the room, or how?
He's walking into the room.
You walk into the room as soon as your footsteps are heard on the floor. Immediately, Niha goes from hovering over her friend to pulling out a pistol, aiming it towards your direction, like in a snap, and the pistol is aiming directly to your head, and for a split second, there's very awkward, tense moment, but then as she realizes who you are, she says, "Kila, you."
Quinn says, "Hi."
Ugh, she says, as if my day couldn't have gotten any worse.
Who is she?
She slowly takes her pistol and she holsters it. She's a friend who sacrificed a lot in order to save you and the rest of those Quarians on that ship.
I tried taking one of them, but there was no point. There would be no point. There were too many.
She puts her hands on her hips and she says, "Why were you not on Rannoch?"
What would a clanless do on Rannoch? What would a clanless Quarian do on Rannoch? The trembling has stopped, and his lip.
She folds her arms and says, "And whose fault is that?"
We've had this argument thousands of times, Niha. Doesn't make any difference now down here. You're the only family I got now, down here. If you could call us family anymore.
That seems to have taken her aback a bit. She pauses for a moment, and she drops her arms that were folded. Yes, I suppose you're right. And then she looks back towards the direction of her friend. "Look, Quinn," she says, "I've had a very long day. I'm sort of very edgy, if you haven't noticed."
I'm not exactly feeling comfortable or safe or anything remotely feeling of you will not punch me any second now, but I will abide.
When you say that, she chuckles slightly, but it almost sounds as if she didn't mean to chuckle and she sort of just let it out. So she kind of catches herself a little bit, and then she says, "If I wasn't so exhausted, I probably would. But maybe I'll take you up on that offer when you least suspect it."
Man, after a while, when now that the tension's obviously gone, another realization will come across him. He'll suddenly look around the room. He'll notice things. I rise to find myself in here. Haven't walked into one of these since Eric.
"It's pretty tight," she says. "Sort of reminds me of one of our fleet ships."
You still haven't told me your name.
You're right, I haven't. Aya, she says. Her name is Aya. She's my partner. Very good at what she does.
You mean that rescue task force you were assigned to?
You're alive, are you not?
You know I was doing fine. I can handle myself. I did it for me and Dad for more ever since you ran back to the fleet.
Well, as you can see, it was only temporary. I was needed to do other things that were bigger than just the fleet, even bigger than what was happening back home.
Quinn is going to... He's going to look over as if he's about to say something, but... Guess you're right. More important things. While we hide down here, waiting for... ancestors knows what.
How long are they planning on keeping that door shut?
If they were smart. Mart? Maybe 1,000, 5,000 years.
Oh, great. You and I stuck here for that long? Kila.
Leto doesn't send me emails anymore. Well, ever so. No surprise, but... You get any word from him?
Every once in a while. I lost contact with him, though, maybe within the last couple of weeks.
Figures. This place is... probably has no signal. Blocks everything. The cloaking. It would disrupt the cloaking. Ever so slightly.
Faith, let me ask you a question, Jessica. I'm leaving this one up to you.
Okay.
How would you prefer to have ended up in this vault? Do you want to be someone who was recruited into the vault? Do you want to be someone who was hired as maybe extra muscle because of your talents to this vault? Do you want to be someone who just stumbled upon it and somehow, allowed you access into the vault? How would you like to have been a part of this group of merry band of misfits? What do you want to have?
I think she would have been, probably hired.
Okay. Probably you and Damien.
Yeah, because if she was recruited, I think she probably would have tried to get her family in there as well. Actually, would her family have been in there too?
I think what happened was you and Damien had heard of this place, and you came there specifically um, to ask Charles to allow you guys to be part of this community, and then B, allow you to bring your families. So I think what happened was Charles probably gave you guys the okay to stay, and he says he will probably tell you, well, we're gonna be closing up the doors probably in the next in the next couple of days, but we're still waiting on people to get supplies. But then the alarm started going off, and you guys didn't have a choice but to shut the doors then and there. So he gave you permission to bring your families, but unfortunately,
in time.
wasn't able to do it on time. You guys were lucky enough to get there at this moment, but now you're stuck. So, well, again, we're at the part where things have sort of died down a bit, and you guys are probably hanging out with some of the civilians, the non-combative people that's down here in the vault, just to make sure that they're okay. And that's when you guys hear a crash on the corner. When you turn around, you see this Quarian stomping away down the hallway, and this table seemed to have had just gotten overturned. And after that had happened, Damien turns to you and says, "Tuh, what's wrong with her?"
I wonder that too. And she probably will go over and probably right at the desk where it had fallen over before going to go check it out.
Damien walks over as you're. Are you trying to pick up after? Like.
Yeah, I tried to get the desk back right up and get the stuff off the floor.
At that point, Damien sort of shakes his head and says, "Faith, you are so OCD. You know that."
Well, in my line of work, you can't afford to make any mistakes. You should know that.
At this point, his expression goes from being lighthearted to being a little more serious, and he says, "Look, with all the craziness, I'm sorry that we weren't able to let them in."
Yeah, her expression gets a little sad at that point because she was close to her family and said, "I know. I wish we could have gotten them in too."
Yeah.
He's picking up the stuff off the floor.
But, hey, I mean, for all we know, everything's just gonna be fine. Maybe Shepard and all of this crew are gonna be able to come in and save the day, and we'll get to see him again. Just you wait. Right?
I sure hope so. Because if we can't get out of here, if this doesn't work out, I think I'm gonna go crazy down here, being stuck down here, not being able to try and help.
Yeah. Well, look at the bright side. That Turian friend of yours doesn't seem to be around.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about being in this place. I don't have to worry about him.
So, what do you think, huh? I mean, about this place? Like,
Well, the idea of having a backup plan should the worst happen is a really good idea, but in the long run, I don't even know if we're going to be able to survive down here if we have to stay here for who knows how many years.
oh,
Because apparently we weren't able to get all the supplies in that we were planning on.
he looks around. There's some cute girls down here, though. Sort of like.
And she goes,
Just
she
saying.
just shakes her head at this and
What?
like hits him on the arm.
He says, what? What do you? I mean,
You
what?
don't have to think about that all the time.
Well, like you said, what are we supposed to be doing down here for however long we're gonna be, stuck? I guess.
I don't know, maybe we could try and...
It's not like I find you attractive or anything. He says that with a
She kind
grin.
of gets a little offended by that. Considering she's known him for the past 8 years, I think I said.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, come on," he says. We're like brother and sister. That would just be ew.
She just shakes her head at him again and just goes to check on the...
And he says,
Orion.
and she says, "Besides, aren't you like what, 4, 5, 8 times older than me? That would be like, I don't know, being with my great grandma."
You should know by now that age is different for an Asari since we lived for 1,000 years.
I know, he says. Still, I'm just saying.
She just...
Don't give me this age is just a number thing, cause that doesn't work.
just shakes her head and just giggles at that before heading out.
When do
On the
Asari
Quarian.
actually? When do Asari experience menopause?
And we've went
I think that's their matriarch stage, because their matron stage is where they start having kids
No.
and families.
Didn't Liara's mom was in the matriarch stage when she had?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think they do experience menopause.
Like
I don't
the
know.
cell regeneration thing should.
They just have less of a
keep it
drive
going.
to have children later.
Yeah, I think Damien doesn't know that they don't have menopause. He just knows that such a thing exists, at least amongst humans. So I think he was not. I think he was half. He wasn't being totally serious when he asked that question. But Faith, actually, how does Faith respond?
She kind of turns to him and says, "Well, we Asari don't really have much of a menopause. Humans do, but since we can basically have kids, I think at least when we get to at least at the earliest at our matron stage, I think. I don't know. I don't think we really have much of a menopause."
Quell, he says, that's a plus? Is there anything that USRE can't do? Sheesh.
I'll let you know if I can think of something.
It's like the creator of the universe decided to take every single positive attribute you could probably have on one race and just flung it to you guys. You guys get to live longer. You don't have to lose your sex drive. You guys get to like manipulate things with your mind. I mean, what
They
gives?
don't have perfect memories.
Well, also the fact that we can also mate with any species or gender.
Yeah,
That's also...
about that. So why is it, he says, that the Asari get to have all of this stuff, and some of us back here are stuck with like what, 4 eyes, or the ability to not be able to live in humid areas, or not being able to he says not being able to be sneezed at without being in
Getting
danger
sick.
of terminally ill.
I don't know. You'd have to ask the person who created our species, which I cannot answer that. I guess we just got lucky, I guess.
Yes, lucky. Yes, he kind of folds his arms at that. Why are we still friends?
Because you know you will be bored without me. And she kind of playfully nudges him before walking away.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, Salovera, you and your sister are still very shaken up by the events that had happened, because you almost had like a near death experience up there with the husks, the Volus husks. And you guys are sort of at a corner, and little Nilo is, she's sort of trembling. She's down on the ground and she's trembling. She seems to be in shock. Like, it looks like she wants to cry, but she can't. Like, she's still absorbing in everything, and she can't even function very well at this moment.
Yeah, Sala will kind of, is she like on the ground?
Yeah, she's basically up against the wall, sitting down against the wall.
She's
got her
Kind
knees.
of like sitting fetal position.
Yeah, sitting fetal position.
So
and
yeah,
she's
Sala
trembling.
Sala will sit, like, crouch down next to her and put his arm around her and try to comfort her. And, there things will be okay. We survived. We've survived many worse things than that.
Those things, she says, they were horrifying.
I'm not going to lie to you. They frightened me a little bit as well, but it's over now and we're safe. And we have many people to thank for that.
What is this place? It's very cold.
Am I aware of what this place is at all? Or we just kind of dragged in here?
You kind of just found your way in here. You might have deduced, I don't know, I'm not sure how much you've started talking to people about what this place is, and you might have gotten the gist that this is a safe bunker, basically, of sorts. I'll let you decide whether or not you know that this is a bunker that you're going to be staying in for a while, supposedly, or not.
Yeah, I don't know if I would know that much. I probably wouldn't have really talked to a whole lot of other people unless they were Quarians.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll tell her that Well, from what I've gathered, this is some sort of safe place to hold out uh, until Shepard wins or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but we are safe here. I know that much. I would not keep us in a place. I would not keep you in a place where you are in any danger.
You promise, brother?
I promise, little sister.
So the Reapers won't be able to find us here.
No, no, there's no way they're getting in here.
That seems to have comforted her a little bit, and then she leans towards you, and then she starts to break down crying.
I'll hold her and comfort her the best I can and say, let it out. It's okay. It's okay. Let it out.
Diana, this is the part where you get to decide who you want to interact with first, because you've pretty much have been observing what's been going around here. You witnessed the Quarian um, topple over the table and stomp off. You witnessed um, the there was a Drell and another Asari who are picking up after the Quarian, and then you kind of notice this little Quarian girl and what appears to be her older brother comforting her. She looks very distraught about what's happening. I will let you decide what you do.